Early in the Pacific War, the Imperial Japanese Pacific Fleet was headquartered at Truk Lagoon. In 1944, reconnaissance of Truk Lagoon by American bombers made the Japanese feel that Truk was vulnerable to invasion, so they moved their naval headquarters further west to the island of Palau. In February 1944, reconnaissance of Palau by American bombers revealed the size of the Japanese Navy there, so the Americans planned a smash-and-go operation called Operation Desecrate 1 that occurred March 30th to 31st, 1944. In that attack, the Americans sunk 20 Japanese ships and destroyed over 200 Japanese aircraft. Palau is a collection of islands in western Micronesia. It measures about 60 miles north to south. On the southwest side of Palau, there's a large natural lagoon protected by barrier reefs. At the southern end of this lagoon is an island called Peleliu that harbored a large Japanese airfield. Peleliu would later become infamous. On the first day of Operation Desecrate 1, American Hellcat fighters swept across Palau to achieve air superiority. They destroyed over 150 Japanese aircraft on the first day. Once air superiority had been obtained, American dive bombers and torpedo bombers swept across Palau looking for targets of opportunity, especially Japanese oil tankers. Overnight, the Japanese sent 60 more fighter aircraft from Saipan, but they were all shot down the next day. In total, the Americans destroyed over 250 Japanese aircraft and sank 20 Japanese ships, including the Imperial Japanese Navy ship Ito. The Imperial Japanese Navy ship Ito was a Naruto class of oiler. It was 455 feet long and could carry 8,000 tons of oil. Launched in August 1922, the Ito served throughout the entire Pacific theater. On February 27, 1943, while east of Truk, the Ito was torpedoed by an American submarine, but it did not sink. The Ito was towed into Kwajalein and later towed to Japan in June of 1943. On June 10, 1943, while just off the coast of Japan, the Ito was torpedoed twice by an American submarine, and yet after 3 torpedo hits, the Ito still did not sink. The Ito was towed into port, repaired, and later returned to service. On March 22, 1944, while traveling between Indonesia and Palau, the Ito was torpedoed again by an American submarine. Though it blew a 25-foot hole in the bow of the Ito, this explosion occurred forward of the collision bulkhead, so it did not affect the water integrity of the ship. The Ito pushed on into the harbor at Palau and went to anchor. On the first day of Operation Desecrate 1, American dive bombers found the Ito at anchor in the Palau Lagoon. They struck it with a 1,000-pound bomb and set the ship ablaze. On the second day of Operation Desecrate 1, the dive bombers found the Ito burning but still afloat, so they attacked it again. This time, a 1,000-pound armor-piercing bomb with a delayed fuse penetrated the starboard side of the Ito just above the waterline. The bomb passed through the berthing quarters in the ship and exploded in the engine room. This was a final fatal blow to the Ito. The Ito sank by the stern in 130 feet of water. The bow rose out of the air constrained by the anchor chains. The ship burned for several days, but it took almost 3 weeks for the Ito to finally settle on the bottom of the ocean. Alright, let's take a dive tour of the wreck of the Ito. First, notice that the ship is intact and upright in about 130 feet of water. There are 3 islands on the ship. The forward island is the forecastle, the middle island has the bridge, and then there's the aft island above the engine room. There are 3 weather decks. The forward weather deck has a large replenishment at sea mast. The middle weather deck has the king posts, which are the fuel tank vents, and then the aft weather deck has the stern deck gun. So we'll drop in at the bow to send the starboard anchor chain to the hole in the bow made by the torpedo blast. We'll swim through this hole, rise up the port side of the bow up onto the forecastle where we'll take a look at the bow deck gun. Then we'll drop onto the weather deck and take a peek in the forward dry cargo hold. You'll notice that the RAS mast can be seen aft in the murkiness. Continuing aft on the forward weather deck, we'll pass some hatches for the oil tanks. We'll pass the RAS mast. Then you'll notice the jumbo boom from the RAS mast has fallen down onto the weather deck at a diagonal towards the port side. We'll get to the lattice structure of the bridge. We'll swim through that, and then we'll drop into the middle weather deck. There's an open hatch with some decaying 55-gallon oil drums. Then we'll continue aft past the king posts, which again are the funnel vents for the main oil tanks. There's an open hatch there we'll drop into and take a look into a passageway in the lower deck. Then we'll continue to the aft island. We'll do a swim through a straight passageway of the aft island and come out at the stern deck gun. Then we'll pop back up on top of the aft island and drop into the engine room. In fact, we'll drop right on top of the engine. You'll notice a lot of broken and twisted metal from the 1,000-pound bomb explosion. Then we'll go aft and take a look at the stern deck gun on a circular platform. And finally, we'll come up to the tripod, which is a mast for the refueling hoses for the transfer of fuel. The top of the tripod is at 15 feet, and we'll do our safety stop right at the top of the tripod before we end the dive.
Flocking to the sea, crowds of people wait for me. Seagulls scavenge still ice cream. Worries vanish within my dream. I lift my soul. Fishing boats sail past the shore. No singing, Mayday anymore. The sun is shining, the water's clear. Just you and I walk along the pier. I left my soul there, down by the sea. Lost control here, living free. Left my soul there, down by the sea. Lost control here, living free. A cool breeze flows behind the wasp. Some get stung, it's worth the cost. I'd love to stay. The city calls me home. More hassles, fuss, and lies, I'm afraid.